Obutakola magoba kiyinza okutegeerekeka. Si kampani nnyingi ezitandikirawo okukola amagoba. Naddala ezo ziteekebwamu ssente nga ziyina ebigendererwa ebirala ng'oggyeko ekyokukola ensimbi. Ennyonyi ebeera n'ebintu ebirala okuyambako okutambuza ebitundu ebirala ebyenfuna by'eggwanga. Kitegeerekeka. Weewaawo amagoba tugaagala ate. Era tulowooza nti amagoba twandigakoze singa abakozi baffe babadde efficient ekimala, nga banyiikivu, nga bamanyi n'ebifaanana bwe bityo era nga bafaayo. Naye ebimu ku ebisinza otukangamu ekigambibwa nti nno ennyonyi eno eya CRJ 900 Bombardier tebakyazikola, kampani ezikola bagitunda era tezikyaliyo ate nga zibadde ziyambako ku luutu ennyimpi. Ne batugamba nti era emyaka gyazo we gigenda okuggwera we bagiwa emyaka 10 ku 11 zijja kuba tezizza magoba. Ensimbi zaffe ze tusuubira okujjamu zetwateekamu zijja kuba tezivuddeemu. Kikibikangamu kyetuvudde tusaba bannaffe aba task force abazitugulira bajje batunnyonnyolemu ku bo kiki kye baali balowooza era alternatives ziri ki, essuubi lyaffe eriri luddawa. Obutagoberera bulungi nteekateeka ya contractor ze baba bakoze n'abantu zitrackinga naye badde ensonga nkulu ya muzinzi mu bye tuteesezaako oba bye twogeddeko olwaleero. Tukyakinoonyerezaako, tubasabye batuwe obuwandiike details akawonvu n'akagga waawe baalemererwa, ani yalemererwa, tulabe engeri gye tuliringa nabo. Yes, kituufu ebiwandiiko ebyo tubyetaaga okubeera nti lwaki babuukabuuka amakyo ne batagoberera mitendera nga bagula ebintu n'emirimu oba obuweereza. So bagenda nabwo okutuddamu baako bye batunnyonnyola mu buwandiike batuwe n'obujulizi ku ngeri gye babadde bagobereramu amateeka. Ensonga y'okulizinga ennyonyi eryoke kubanga bwe batolina nnyonyi zikumala zizo ng'ate waliwo ruutu ze weetaaga okuvugako ezisobola okuleeta ssente, ezisobola okutumbula ebyobulambuzi, ezisobola okutumbula ebyobusuubuzi, kikkirizibwa okupangisa. Naye endagaano zino zibeeramu confidentiality clauses, zibeeramu twekisize. Bali be mukolaganye nabo gwe bataagala afulume ennyo buli muntu kumumanya, birimu ba competitors abavuganya nabo n'ebifaanana bwe bityo. So kyenvudde mpa amagezi nti endagaano ejja kujja ebeere mu ofiisi yange, abaagala okugisomako bajje tugisome ffenna ba members, naye sigikola mu kopi. Kiyinza otuswaza ate ne kimalamu oba ne kikanga abalala abandikolaganye naffe.
Nenya ekitongole ky'ennyonyi y'eggwanga. Ekitongole ky'ennyonyi y'eggwanga ebimu ku birumira bye tulabye kwe kuba nti endagaano ezigabibwa naddala ez'aba suppliers tezibaako enkola eneezirondoola. Ne weesanga nti batumya ebyamaguzi ebyetaagibwa mu nnambiro nga tebiriiko babireeta ddi era wa. Otajjero n'atugamba nti weetaagisaawo okulondoola ani alondoola era ani avunaanyizibwa. Kyakubiri mbatunuza mu ntambula z'ennyonyi nti nga baripootinga era nga audit report etulaga nti ennyonyi ekyakola loss oba ekyafiiriza eggwanga lino. Kikulu nnyo okumanya entambula z'ennyonyi zinatereezebwa zita kubanga tuyalina abasaabaze abakomplaininga nti apulaninga kutambula ssaawa 8 n'acheckinga in naye ne bavaawo nkeera. Routes ezo nga twebuuza ki ekireese omutawaana ogwo okuba nti routes zino wadde baguddewo eziwerako era nga tuzaanyiriza naye lwaki performance oba okuba nti batuukiriza obudde kikyagaanye ekivaamu loss mu ntambula y'abantu era gifuuse emisango mu kkooti. Weesanga nti audit report etulaga nti enkwata y'emigugu naye evuddeko obuzibu kubanga ennyonyi nnyingi ziba issues z'emigugu naye basobola ozisolovingira ku kisaawe n'emigugu ne girabika. Lwaki egya Uganda Airlines mingi emisango giweredde mu kkooti era gikyali mu kkooti nga ennyonyi ebanjibwa. Kyakusatu okuba nti waliwo obulagajjavu obunokolwayo audit report emisango gino egimu egiri ku nnyonyi gireeteddwa oba oliawo bulagajjavu. So entambula y'ennyonyi nebanga erimu ebibuuzo bingi naddala mu performance yaayo kyetwagala okuba nti kirambulwa. Ekyokubiri nti wakati w'okugulawo routes eziwerako naye ate n'okuba nti batuukiriza schedule ezo ziba zikanyizibwako nakyo kyankizo nnyo. Naye ekirala kyendabye nga kikwatako era nga twagala ne Ministry ya Foreign Affairs ekiyingiremu kikyokuba nti Airline etugamba nti luutu ng'eya London bafuna abantu nga bakopa mu London naye okugenda wano balina issue ya visa. Twagala Ministry ya Foreign Affairs okukwatagana bulungi ne embassy ya Bungereza okulaba nti baharmonizing ekintu kya visa bannayuganda benga bangoyizibwa ennyonyi benga etambula. Naye ate ekisinga obuzibu kyekya route ye Dubai. Oluganda nti route ye Dubai almost egenda kubalemerera kubanga abasaabaze abasinga abalina okuva kuno tebasobola kufuna visa. Era nga okufuna visa tukimanyi nti omuntu ayangulirwa ng'akozeseza ennyonyi eza UAE ezaabwe. So twagala nekino ekintu embassy, Ministry of Foreign Affairs ne Airline bakikwataganye so that embassy tekalubiriza abasaabaze olwokuba bagenda kukozesa Uganda Airline okubawa visa wabula bebenga yanguyiriza abasaabaze kuba nti bannayuganda era nti balina passport ya Uganda. Naye ne gavumenti ya Uganda okuddako babega okufast trackinga okutereeza passport yaffe okuba nti ekkirizika era ebanga ezitowa. Naye bw'otunuulira ebimu ku birumira era byetulabyemu kwe kuba nti recovery enkola y'okurecoveringa ekyalimu okweraliikiriza nti ennyonyi eraga nti ebadde ekola magoba era ekyali mu magoba ekyali mu losses ekitegeeza sente zaamuwa musolo zezikola ki zezigendako. Naye simanyi oba tunatuka akaseera ng'omuntu okutambulira ku nnyonyi y'eggwanga nga munnayuganda afunamu incentive nga kubanga ye muwi w'omusolo era ayimirizaawo ennyonyi eno. Bw'otunya amawanga agaakula entambula oba national oba citizen ng'olina kaadi y'eggwanga nga national ID entambula z'eggwanga munda n'ebweru w'eggwanga bazimodifying nga nebanga munnansi akenderezebwa ku misoso gy'ayitamu okubanga akozesa entambula y'eggwanga. So since ennyonyi y'eggwanga tutandika sente za muwi wa musolo twagala okutunulira n'ekifaananyi ekyo ekigazi naye nga mu bumpimpi twagala n'okumanya nti Airline we beekola loss kiva ku baana abagiddukanya oba waliwo abali emabega wa Airline eno abagiremesa oba abateekawo ebiragiro. Otherwise performance ekyalimu issue ennyonyi nyizo osanga ziri grounded osanga routes zikyalimu ebirumira ate ne mu nkola yaabwe y'emirimu twagala kumanya recruitment y'abakozi eri etya kuba twesanze nga routes ezimu tusangako abagwira nga baziddukanya both mu nnyonyi ne mu ntambula yaayo. Twagala kumanya nti munnansi ayanguyizibwa okusaba omulimu okola mu Airline kyakubiri lwaki otajje natugamba nti balina emisango mingi mu nkozesa y'abakozi n'engoba y'abakozi. Abakozi babagoba kinagalaale tebayita misoso gisaanidde. So tulina ebibuuzo bingi byetugeeza okuinterrogatinga ku nnyonyi y'eggwanga naye nga tukyagenda mu maaso okubuuza.
Oli wa mukisa okukira abalala omugugu gw'ebizibu by'ettaka gukutikuddwa Brand Property Services Limited ku lw'ettaka eritaliiko nkaayana. Ennyumba eziwedde okuzimbibwa wamu n'ez'okupangisa apartments ez'okupangisa wamu n'okugula mu mawanga ag'enjawulo okuli Uganda, Kenya, Bungereza, Dubai, America wamu ne Canada. Okuddaabiriza ennyumba oba ebizimbe byo property management n'abasaveya abakugu abatakufere twekwate ku nsonga zonna ezeekuusa ku by'ettaka nga kw'otadde n'okugobera ku kyapa kyo. Kati pazo y'eby'ettaka ebadde kukaluubiriza egonjoddwa bw'okwataganye naffe tukubire ku noti 783 noti 79 oba noti 773 noti oba otusange ku MT House omwaliiro ogusooka room 5 ewazana ku Entebbe Road okuliraana ekizimbe kya Muguluma Empire. Tukyalireko ne ku website yaffe www.brandpro.co.ug. Brand Pro Property Services Limited, tutuukiriza birooto.
Here, what has happened is we waited for the witness or the witnesses and they didn't show up. We had no communication as to why they are not here. We waited, as you notice, for more than an hour until we gave up. So we have given them another chance, probably the last chance to come here tomorrow. We shall see how to proceed tomorrow. Of course, it's unfortunate that we had to waste this time. Our time is valuable. Mrs. Bamturachi and her team did not show up. We hope tomorrow they will come. And if they do not come, we shall find ways of being with them. That's all I can say. Well, we're expecting a team from Uganda Airlines led by Madam Jennifer Bamturaki. The team is not here.
discussion started last week.
Yes. No, I can't discuss what I was meant to discuss with witnesses, with the press.
Because maybe the reason they have not come.
That they didn't know what we were going to discuss?
That matter may be scared. Sure.
Why would it be scared? And you would be scared for how long?
Some of them appear with former accounting officers.
Yes.
Have you also clarified more about that? Why you need former accounting?
No, because there are issues which arose during his tenure, including the procurement of aircrafts. We invited, I don't want to use the word summon, we invited the task force as well, which was constituted to manage the process of acquiring and starting up the airline company. So we are also investigating or inquiring into the startup process. We wanted to interact with the key players and stakeholders that participated in the initial stages, so we could understand the philosophy and the policy considerations in the acquisition of the aircrafts. We shall definitely get the evidence we want.
This is not the first time Uganda is refusing to appear as witness for purposes, because I remember even last time they refused. What did you do in case?
This is their first time to refuse to or to fail to appear before me. They have appeared before. I mean, last time they were there, last week they were here. We agreed on today and receive my assurance they will come. They will come.
Uganda Airlines was appearing for the second time. The first time they appeared, the proceedings went on smoothly, but at the end of the day, there was no report. There was some technical plans that were used to sort out the report. And now we are seeing the same thing.
I was not chairing COSASE. I cannot speak for the previous leadership. I don't know. I was not in a position to know why. This time, they will come and we shall have a report. The country will have a report. Kandalirira ne tulinda abajulizi baffe ne batajja, tubadde tusuubira bannaffe aba Uganda Airlines, kampani y'eggwanga ey'ennyonyi, abakulemberwa mukyala Jennifer Bamutulaki, ono nga ye CEO oba ye ssenkulu wa kampani y'eggwanga ey'ennyonyi. Meeting eno twagikkaanyaako ffenna mu meeting, naye talabise, tatuwadde ensonga. So tugambye katugaziyeeko ku budde, tuweeyo ku budde, ne tusaba kalaani waffe amwandiikire amutegeeze nti tumulinze olunaku olw'enkya awatali kwekwasa na kulemererwa, era tumusuubira okujja. Ne bannaffe ab'akakiiko akaateekateeka oba akaakulemberamu enteekateeka z'okugula ennyonyi zino, tulowooza nti bajja kujja. Kiyamba bo okujja ne batutegeeza, kubanga mu buli ngeri bajja kujja. So bibyange simanyi sente eggwanga lye ziba zifiiriddwa, naye ekyamazima abantu abamu tebamanyi nti mu budde tufiirirwamu sente ng'eggwanga. Abamu tebamanyi kyekitegeeza kuŋŋaanya babaka n'obajja ku birala, ku bukiiko obulala, ku kuwandiika alipoota, ku kugenda okulambula emirimu gya gavumenti mu constituencies, n'obatuuza wano n'oteeka wali kyayi ebyokunywa, n'obudde bwennyini n'obwongo okubeera nga buli focused ku kino. So kitukoze bubi nti bannaffe tebalabiseeko, naye katusabe nti bajja kusobola okulabika enkya. Kulabika sibimanyi, saaliwo, saakakulembera, sinze nali ssentebe waako, naye nze bwe nabayita bajja zizeemu bayita bajja kujja ate nga bajja kujja nga gwe mulundi ogusoose ejja kubeera discussed. Report tujja gikola, tujja giteekayo ku mwaliiro era mujja gifuna ng'eggwanga. Tubeeramu enteekateeka z'okuwula ennyonyi n'okutandika kampani eno nayo twagisabye ejje twogereko nayo. Biki bye twagala okwogera nayo mundeke mbalinda abajulizi bange ndeke kubyogera nammwe. Yes, bajja kubaako bye batuyambako okutegeera bye tutaategeera.
Today we are supposed to interact with a team from Uganda Airlines, and of course we had an engagement last time, but the main purpose of this meeting was for the former accounting officer to come and appear before the committee and explain about the decision they took to purchase the aircrafts that the company, the manufacturer is running out of business, and we are not have spare parts for those planes. So that was the main reason why we wanted the accounting office and the team to come and explain. But unfortunately, they have not turned up, and we have postponed the meeting tomorrow.
I've heard from the clerk, he said that we're supposed to appear at 9 a.m. and we will be here on time. You know, we are aviators, so time is we were here 11:30, yes, but we missed him.
Maybe
tetukoze kale no show baddewo naye omukulu honorable Ssegona tumwe ekitiibwa kubanga naye bwe mujjukira nti last week we twali wano yagamba nti tujje ssaawa 6 naye ndowooza waliwo ebyakyukakyukamu ate ne tufuna mix up eyo ssaawa 4 ssaawa 6 so twabadde tufunye communication eyo eya ssaawa 6 ate ejjukira tulwadde omukama waffe CEO Jennifer Bamturaki yabadde yateekawo meeting eri very very important ya airline ku ssaawa 4 naye twabadde wano ku ssaawa 5 n'eddakiika 3 naye bwe tuzze nga tumumisinze naye tetwasinabinze oba tetwebuzaabuzizza naffe twagala tumalirize akakiiko kano bye batusabye byonna tubirina twabiweereza era tuli ready okuba nti tunyonnyola eggwanga tunyonnyola committee ebikwatagana ne report ya Auditor General. Nga clerk atugambye ssaawa 3 era agambye agenda kiteeka mu buwandiike tewali nsonga lwaki tetubeera wano mu budde tewali kubanga naffe omanyi Airlines tukolera ku time so tukwata obudde tujja kubeera wano naye wabaddewo akavulyako era tusaba omukulu Ssegona kubanga ayina ali very understanding tusonyiwe yatugenda kuwandiika nga tumusaba otusonyiwa nti
kakati ebintu bya ennyonyi y'eggwanga bikyalimu ebibuuzo naye paka nga ebibuuzo biddiddwamu tulina okugenda mu maaso okubanyigiriza n'okubalaga nti Parliament nga yitira mu bukiiko bwayo buvunaanyizibwa bwayo okukola oversight era bw'ebanga yisse ekitongole kyonna omuli n'ekyennyonyi teriyo munene na mutono kasita obanga osaasanyizibwako ssente z'eggwanga. Omanyi kizibu kya Uganda Airlines baagera ne bagula ennyonyi ezitaliiko lipeeya kati efa poteya kati naffe twagala kumanya kyava ku ki ogula otya ennyonyi omanyi ennyonyi kisooka za ssente buwanana ne bagula ennyonyi ziwedde katale ziwedde tekinologiya waayo aweddewo tebalina lipeeya kati omuntu agenda kulinyanga Uganda Airlines ng'ekiwujjo kya Boeing oluggi lwa kampani ndala entebe nga ya kampani ndala nga bipange bupanze ekisooka kikompromisinga sector ng'eya aviation so nga twayagala nnyo ennyonyi yaffe y'eggwanga ebe yatunzi. Twagala nnyo ennyonyi yaffe y'eggwanga ebeere nga ekola amagoba. Twagala nnyo ennyonyi yaffe y'eggwanga ebeera successful market kubanga kisooka etunda identity y'eggwanga ate eyambako n'obusobozi no connectinga Uganda n'amawanga amalala. So ennyonyi nkulu nnyo laffe ekituluma nnyo bwe tulaba ebirumira byonna mu byandiyambye ennyonyi y'eggwanga okuba nti eyoperforminga oba ng'ekola bulungi. Kati kitegeeza nti going forward bw'oba tonyegereza ja kunoonyereza ku nsonga eno bayinza okuddamu mistakes ezimu ze twandibadde tetuddamu. So obulumi bwaffe bwakuba nti tebalabiseeko olwaleero naye nga akakiiko bwekabasamoninze tulinze tulabe oba enkya balabikako n'okunnyonnyola kiki ekibalobedde obutalabikako olwaleero batidde birumira biri mu General's report oba kukerewa kwa bulijjo. It is in our interest to have an operational airline, and with a successful aviation or airline industry, especially where Uganda Airlines is part of the key players, we believe it assists in connectivity, connecting Uganda to the rest of the world, improving trade, and equally boosting the identity and the values of a country called Uganda. It is in our interest as a country. However, we are also alive to the fact that for the success of the sector, we must examine all those challenges and identified by the Auditor General as evidenced in the audit report. It is very unfortunate that the airline team has not surfaced today, and the meeting was abruptly adjourned to another day, probably tomorrow. But needless to say, we are questioning ourselves: are they fearing to answer the anomalies identified by the Auditor General? We understand that the aircrafts as purchased are outdated. There are no spare parts. It will be absurd to find an aircraft of Uganda Airlines with the different spare parts for the door, the seat, the engine. It will be disturbing for the aviation sector. Much as it is in our interest to have a successful aviation and airline business as a country, and we need have good intention for the success of the Uganda Airline. But going forward, we also need to examine where the airline has failed and want to identify who is behind who and who has failed what. So the failure by the airline, Uganda Airline team to appear today is very unfortunate, and we need to examine ourselves. Are they doing it in contempt of the committee? Was there a genuine reason why they failed to appear? Do they fear to answer the anomalies and to respond to the anomalies cited by the Auditor General? Now, these are very concerning developments. I want to call upon the airline team to understand that the Committee of Parliament and Parliament has a duty in doing oversight. We need to examine what went wrong, where and how, and what are the solutions, who are those responsible. Otherwise, having an airline that is in our interest, but a few individuals failing our interest as a country, it must have checks and balances, and that's why Parliament has to come in. So their failure to come today is of concern to us. I don't know if they're just dodging or trying to avoid responding to the so many questions we have as detailed in the Auditor General's report, or they have a genuine reason. But we need to understand, probably as they have been summoned to reappear tomorrow or another day, we shall wait for them to appear because the audit queries remain. Njogera kati nga nationalistic person.
Olwaleero tubadde tulina okusinkana abakola ava mu Uganda Airlines ng'ensonga ebaleeta luli twabasinkana naye tetwasanga nti ennyonyi ze baagula tezijja kumalako nga bwe basuubira nti kampuni yali ezikola yagalawo n'egenda kati tumanyi spare parts zivaawa ne bagamba nti waliwo eyali mu ofiisi ebiseera ebyo ttiimu eyaliwo so twali tubayise leero bajje n'eyo ttiimu batunyonyere lwaki baagula ennyonyi oba bakola decision ng'egenda kufiisiriza eggwanga esente kyetubadde tubayitira naye ekyamugisa mubi tebalabiseeko era tuba tusalawo nti tubawa olwenja aba banaasobola kukomawo bajje batindire. So ekyamaanyi ennyo twagala ttiimu yali mu ofiisi mu biseera ebyo yagula ennyonyi ng'ennyonyi tuzigenda kumalako.
Actually, there was a mix-up in time. As you are aware, I don't know whether some of you were here last Thursday, the chair had indicated midday. So with that also we had the CEO and other team members had scheduled a meeting, a crucial meeting for the airline at 10. So in hindsight, we really knew, all of us were supposed to be here at midday. And as you're aware also, even the Auditor General's representative came in at almost midday. So there was just a mix-up of time. And you could also see that we are here. So it was a mix-up on time. But we really regret, this is regrettable, but also we apologize that we had that mix-up, because we also want to have this hearing done and have some of these issues resolved, and so that we can get back to the operation.
Abalungi abatuuliriza era abatulaba olunaku olwaleero tuchaddeko ewa Sheikh Asiraf Dembe.
Sebo sanyusa okubalaba. Amannya agange Yeze Sheikh Asiraf Dembe akola ku bizibu by'enjawulo. Omuntu singa aba alina ebirwadde musomereddwa, tumuwa amazzi ga lukuya nga bw'obadde ogalaba, tugenda abantu ku kyoto ne twokya emizimu emibi egibabaamu n'okulomba edduwa. Abantu singa abeera ng'ali wano atuuse sobola okumulombera edduwa, ne waba atatuuse nga mpadde amannya ge naye ng'ali wala. Neetaaze enamba yange yeeno eri 0707363711. Nammwe bannyinaffe abali ebweru oyagala okuba nti oyagala okulombera ku dduwa ng'olina ebizibu, viza zibuze, amaka gakolongotana, sente zikola zimpita mu ngalo, ojja kumpeereza ekifaananyi kyo n'amannya go, ebyo byokka bijja kummala, nja kukulombera edduwa, ojja kutereera. Olunaku olusembayo mu mwezi mba n'edduwa ey'awamu ffenna n'abalwadde bange abakadde n'abapya. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Nyingi MP Kyadondo East moved a motion to require one of the staff of NIRA in charge of procurement to be put on oath. It was not supported with exactness. There was an attempt by the Honorable Martin Mzale to say maybe I would have supported the motion. So the motion went unseconded. But I also examined the rules and did not find justification for that. I needed to make that guidance so that the record does not remain hanging. So she will not be put on oath, but I will continue to invite our witnesses to speak with not only honesty, but also clarity, such that you're not misunderstood. When we misunderstand you, sometimes we may get tempted to call certain rules into action. That's number one. Number two, the tools of trade are always here with us, not only today. These include the Bible and the Quran for people taking oath. Last time, Madam Rosemary Chisemba, we were looking at irregular evaluation of bidders under the framework contracts. And we were looking particularly at two companies, HP and, three, Xerox, Canon, and HP. The explanation was given, but I did require you to provide some information in writing, which you did not do. I gave timelines, did I? They were not complied with. So where did you put our explanations?
Honorable Chair, I apologize. I went for a funeral, so I was unable to sign the documents that were related to that particular issue. But we acquired all of them, and
please submit them, Edgar. That's that one. We shall read the explanation. I had.
May I take them through, or first?
Oh no, you give them to us, and we will. You remain with your copy, which you will use to take us through. Oh, you gave us only 2 copies, 1 copy?
No, there are others.
I have with me the procurement requisition marked as Annex 1 in relation to the companies that we were talking about. We have the clearance from the Auditor General, the Solicitor General. We have these documents from Cyber. We have the documents from NERA on the list of suppliers of services. The market assessment report for assorted toners. We also have Form 5, which is the request for approval of procurement, and an internal memo to the accounting officer from the Director of Finance and Administration, through Director of Finance and Administration from the Manager Administration on request for authority to procure assorted toners and a framework contract. Yes, that's one set. Could you also speak to these ones which I do not understand? Bank of Uganda, government deposits for letters of credit.
There was a question around the accounting that Director of Finance will get into. The first is that the deposit of the money that we received at the close of the financial year. It is the document we gave to show evidence that the money was deposited on a Bank of Uganda government account. Yes.
Okay, so the documents are accordingly received. Secretariat, please take note. Director Legal, what was your role in the procurement for toner? That some documents were required from company X, and they were not given that yet supplies were made. The reason why contracts were not signed was actually there were 2 limbs. The first is that a contract was not signed because certain documents were missing or lacking. They were not supplied. They were not given, but then supply was made without a contract. Payment was effected. On the second is that there was no authority from the manufacturer of toner, no consent. But then the consent was not given, and because of that lack of consent, instead of consent from Canon and Xerox, consent was obtained from HP. The explanation was that there were 3 suppliers. One was HP. We do not have one from Canon and none from Xerox. You advised that payment be effected. Is that true?
It is true. First of all, my role comes in the Directorate of Legal. The role comes in when the contract is being sent to the SG for clearance. So we are the ones who draft for ED a letter to send to Solicitor General with a draft contract. So when it was returned, maybe I speak specifically I'll start with Carter Technologies. The accounting officer made an observation that the manufacturer's authorization that was attached was not the one that was required in the bidding document. And so she hesitated to sign the contract. So the contract was not signed. It turns out later on that the goods were delivered. Of course, that is outside our jurisdiction as a directorate. But somehow the goods were delivered and they were received. Now, when the goods were delivered, the company demanded for payment. So when the company demanded for payment, the ED wrote to me specifically to advise on whether or not she should proceed to pay in the absence of the contract. And we prepared a legal opinion to her to the effect that because we had received the goods under the principle of quantum merit, the service provider was entitled to payment regardless of non-signing of the contract.
Is quantum merit not being stretched too far? Quantum merit, yes, relates to pay per supply. But then the basic document is the contract. How did somebody end up supplying without a contract? Maybe it was a donation. How did we end up receiving without a contract? Who received? And I gave you time to find out who received. So who received without a formal arrangement?
On our side, they were received by the head of stores.
Who is your head of stores?
It's called Stephen.
Stephen who?
Kiza.
Where is he? This matter remained pending. Which documents is he supposed to base on to receive documents? Supposing I bring a lorry of matoke because he's in stores, he just receives? Or there must be an arrangement?
The best
Yeah,
is...
here I can see Chiza, Stephen. Okay. Who is Gesa Silas? Dennis Ojok and Senyonga Yasin. What is their role? Is this ISO contract management team or
That's...
internal security organization?
No, no. It must be another thing. But the toner was received by Nira.
By?
Nira.
Yeah. You know, a lot has been fused. Anyway, I think, colleagues, what is clear is that they received the goods without a formal agreement. They paid.
They've not yet paid.
Not yet paid.
Yes.
But there is already an opinion that pay, because payment was effected on 10th December 24. Mm-hmm. So
payment has not been effected.
Yes, but okay. I mean, receipt was 10th December 2024.
No, receipt was 27th June 2024.
Well, which document am I looking at from your annex?
It's this.
Oh, it's the new annexes. Yeah. Let me have my... Maybe chair. Incidentally, I was looking at this, which also has a Kiza.
Maybe chair.
Yes.
I want to... NIRA has stores where they receive goods and supplies. Now, when we hear that the way the stores are managed, you can in any way deliver and receive, it also presupposes that you can equally load and take away. So we may find that NIRA is in a circle of procurement, whereas whatever is procured is lost. Now, because it speaks to a compromised store or storage, there must have been a mechanism that once the way goods are delivered, they are transactional documents. Now, for a national agency to tell us that a company just delivered, no contract, no order, no procurement, it presupposes that equally a company can come and load what has been procured. We need to examine whether the stores are not compromised. And NIDA needs to assure us if they could receive any goods, can't they load or take away any goods from the stores? Is whatever procured actually remain a property of NIDA? And secondly, the answer from the legal department is not convincing. The principle she is alluding to requires investigation on reasonable price. She's only telling us that once she was notified, she only gave opinion. We need to examine the opinion she gave. But Chair, legally, for one to recover under the same principle, there must be an investigation of reasonableness. Was the amount quoted the price?
Actually, you do not need to investigate. In that case, you have a whole contract for like construction of a building. You do determine and pay according to what has been supplied, because assuming a construction was to cost $1 billion and somebody completes 80%. But the underlying thing is that there must be an arrangement. There must be an agreement. Honorable Mwada, we will not investigate whether what is brought in is taken out, because we would be speculating. For now, let's restrict ourselves to the supply. But then,
but Chair, it is not speculative.
it is.
If a supply can be received without documentation, how can you be certain that I cannot load away?
No.
Without documentation. You know, it is a circle.
There's an assumption.
It speaks to compromise the stores.
No. Let's not speculate, because you'd be speculating because there is a real life situation that there was a supply which was made without a formal agreement. From your many words, I have picked something which I want to ask. You wanted to ask it, but maybe you conglomerated it in so many things. Let me hear from you, Madam Chisembo. Let me hear from her the chain of delivery. One, does a supplier wake up and say, let me go and supply? Or under a framework contract, there is a requisition. In this case, did anyone request for supply? Because you have a framework contract, somebody will continue supplying as and when need arises. Did anyone requisition for this supply?
As far back as 30th January 2024, and it's Annex 1 in what I had first given.
Good. That is where I want us to go. It is here. To the accounting officer, through Director of Finance and Administration, date, and from the manager administration. Do we have the manager administration whose signature I see here? Do we have the Director of Finance and Administration?
Yes.
Whose signature I see here? This is the lady.
Yes.
Madam, you approved. Did you know of an existing contract with this particular supplier? 2, ED, you cleared the supply. But you are the same person who had declined to sign the agreement. Tell us the circumstances under which you did.
If you will allow me, I'll take you through the documents.
Yes, ma'am. Which one?
It precedes this one I've just read out.
This one?
Yes.
The procurement requisition.
Yes, and it has a Form 5 attached. That Form 5 is in the PPD Act, the official or the trigger for procurement to begin. I will draw your attention to the quantities of toner that were required, but I will draw your attention more to Annex 2. Annex 2 It will explain another matter that is coming up. You take note that lot 1 is HP toners.
True.
And they are the highest quantity.
And these ones had the document, we saw the document.
Yes.
Which was,
so that was the basis for the HP
the
manufacturer's authorization.
Yes.
That person had bidded for the HP HP.
Okay. This one has no controversy because the document is there.
Yes. No, it's one of the issues that you had.
Oh, it has.
Yes. If you look at and where this matter was coming from, this first company, Cybil.
Oh, yes.
The contention here was that they got a manufacturer's authorization from HP, and yet for that lot 3,
yes, they
were supposed to
bring Chosera,
to bring Canon
and Xerox.
And the Xerox.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So
if you look at Annex 5, that is what they bidded for in their document.
Annex 5.
Lot 1. So that HP was for those toners. It's Annex 5?
Yes, we are talking
Annex
about
4. Annex 4.
Annex 4?
Yes, please.
Take us. Annex 4 has a document for Cyber.
Yes, that was their bid. To bring a close to that matter, we never called off from them at all. We've never made an order.
No. This bid is for lot 1.
I agree.
The query is for lot 3.
Lot 3, that is correct. For lot 3, even for lot 1, which they gave us the right authorization, we never ever called off. There has never been because in a framework contract, you supply based on a call of order and a local purchase order. So those two have never been issued for that company's bid supply, and they have never supplied.
Okay.
So I will return now to the matter that was at hand. The basis of Qatar's, we got a clearance from Solicitor General attached as Annex 6. And being the end of the financial year, I was informed that that is when the LPO was raised. And LPO is attached as Annex 7. When the clearance from the Solicitor General came, they assumed that the final clearance for the goods had been given for the contract.
Now you have used two words. One is assume. The second is I was told. Those are a little bit problematic.
It is true.
That's why I have blocked assumptions from my people.
Yes.
I will block assumptions from you.
Fair enough.
Two, I will also not allow I was told without you telling me who told you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the local purchase order was issued to the company attached as Annex 7.
You know, Madam Chisembo, what you're telling us is all good procedurally. But all these supplies stem from a framework contract, which, as you rightly conceded, did not exist at the time. Would it not have been prudent, therefore, if you had summoned prudence, would it not have been prudent to first require that the documents missing be given and then
sign the framework contract.
That's true.
You therefore what?
Chair,
Yes.
I'm inclined to ask, in the absence of which had refused to sign, Chair, would we be procedural right to proceed to inquire whether the procurement was properly done when there was no legally binding relationship between the entity and the supplier? Wouldn't we demand of them to refund that money? Although they have not paid, yes. Would we proceed really without a legal framework?
Yes, we would proceed with the inquiry. Because how would you arrive at the conclusion, even the one you are rushing to jump to, without inquiring?
Mr. Chairman.
That it is not there is reason for us to inquire.
Mr. Chairman.
Wait, sir. That the agreement is not there is reason for us to inquire. So by inquiring, we are proceeding well. By determining whether or not they should refund the money, we are barred by two reasons. The first is that the money has not been paid. The second is that we have not sat down to start writing our report and/or judgment. We are still receiving evidence, and after receiving evidence, we shall review the facts and the law. We are proceeding very well. Honorable Kwizera, you're not satisfied?
Chairman, thank you very
just
much.
a minute. My honorable colleague from
Chair, thank you. But I think, Chair, we should have legal whether she played her role well to advise the chief executive.
in terms of what?
Because he had said that it is they who advise the executive director to endorse contracts. Would she feel comfortable in this context that they went ahead to accept?
First,
the
factually,
procurement?
it's not true that she said she advised the executive director to endorse the contract. The answer she gave is to the effect that when consulted, she wrote an opinion that based on the principle of quantum merit, which we shall examine, go ahead and pay because you have consumed the goods. She did not advise on the endorsement of the contract, which is not endorsed anyway. Oh, it was subsequently endorsed. Did they supply the document? Okay.
They gave us the authorization. I think it's Annex 9 in the first papers that we gave.
Annex 9, which we have looked at. Honorable Kwizera, I'm coming back to you, so do not worry and make sure you do not forget the point you want to raise. Annex 9, from what I see, I do not see there the authorization. Do you see it? This is what I have as Annex 9.
The original documents we sent.
Oh, Annex 9 of the original, from here. I think we examined that last time, but we shall never tire in examining. Honorable Gaffer, you led this. Is this the document you're referring to? The one of HP?
No, the next page. The next 2 pages.
Sorry?
There is no document of that kind she's talking about.
No, she's referring to this document.
That document is not in Annex 9. These are...
Do you mean the certificate from TER? Is it TAVNOD? You have switched off.
These were companies who are part of the supply chain of Xerox and the 3 suppliers who are allowed to trade with their goods. So they supplied us those 2 certificates.
Where do we read that from? Because with the document I am seeing, unlike the one of HP,
Mr. Chairman, the certificates are on Annex 9.
Those are the ones I'm
The
reading.
certificates, the 2 ones, yes.
Because here, the German Imaging Technology, Dubai LLC, that manufacturing of processed toner cartridge, recycling of toner cartridges, provision of IT maintenance services, and hardware maintenance services, certificate of registration, this and this and that. Let's compare with the one of HP and see, not in terms of form, but what it brings out.
But Mr. Chairman.
Wait. The one of HP is Annex what? Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, wait. Look at this Annex 5 attached to Cyber. Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, the issue at hand
She
referred
said,
to in Annex.
she said eventually they signed. Right? Then we said, okay, after
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Chairman.
Let's hear Honorable Muzale.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
There can never be a valid contract signed after supply. It can't be.
No.
If I give you goods today and we sign tomorrow, it means I supplied when there was no contract.
Lawyers know of something called innovation, where you go back and you ratify. But let's be slow, process by process. I did ask a question, did you sign? She said, eventually we signed. I said, the reason you had not signed was because authorization had not been given. Not so? And her answer was that authorization was given by eventually. So we've been examining this certificate in Annex 9 of the original document to see if they amounted to the authorization we are talking about.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, can I?
Mr. Chairman.
Wait, colleagues. And we said, okay, in Annex 9, who authorized before you signed the agreement? She said, look at Annex 9.
Those are certificates.
Wait. So we opened to see if these amount to the authorization that what we are talking about that were required. And when you said, first of all,
Chairman, it's information.
These are not from Xerox, they are not from Canon. So why I did not want us to interfere with that flow is I wanted the witness to first take through her documents. That will give us an opportunity from an informed view to ask her the questions we want. Because if we intervene now, before we understand these documents, we will lose track.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Honorable Kwizera.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, in a contract,
yes,
you have a contracts committee, specifications and the price. So for this one to supply, who gave them the specifications and the price? Isn't it better for this to give us who were the members of the contracts committee and what they did? Because you cannot say, I supplied. How did you know that they did the equipment, the goods? And at what price?
Before that, Honorable Quizzer, last time the question we asked, we went through the stages of contracts committee. It comes to the accounting officer. Accounting officer says, these documents are missing. Let us have them. She did not sign the agreement. Now, eventually, before or without signing the agreement, supply is made. Today, she has come to tell us that actually, because this is new now, that supply was made, that I signed the agreement. I said, okay, what had prevented you from signing the agreement was lack of certain documents. Authorization from the manufacturer. Now, she has given us these two documents.
Now, Mr. Chairman, there's something you are missing.
Yes.
Here, there is a difference between the accounting officer and the contracts committee.
That's correct.
Though, let me finish. Now, if the function of the contracts committee is finished, and then if there was no contract, who invited them to supply?
That one is what... That's
the first answer for them. Let them answer.
I am not answering for them. Yes. I am setting my record clear for neatness that we have asked that question. Here, in your presence, look at Annex 1, which is what was given to us as the requisition. You're holding a wrong document, I guess, Honorable Kwizera. Do you have a small one like this, which has been supplied in the course of this meeting? Okay, now, Honorable Kwizera, yes. I asked the same question you're asking, that who initiated the supply, not the contract, but the supply. I found that there is somebody called the manager administration who was said not to be here. There is director of finance and administration who is here, who approved because it went through her to the accounting officer. Accounting officer authorized. That's where we started, and I asked, you had refused to sign the framework contract. But here you are giving us, authorizing the supply. Because now we are not even looking for anyone else. We are looking for the accounting officer who authorized. Now she says, I eventually signed the framework contract. Can we look at the signed framework contract?
Yeah. So, Mr. Chairman, we shall look at the dates when they signed the framework and when she authorized it. Which came first?
Let me lead you. Framework contract?
Chair, I'm sorry now, haste, we forgot the copy of the signed contract.
Okay. When was it signed? When did you sign it? Let's see when the framework contract was signed.
I don't recollect. I do not recollect, sir.
Can you send somebody to bring it now? Receive it in the course of the meeting. Kwizera, do you still have any problem?
But I think she can recall when.
No. You cannot stretch.
You know, Mr. Chairman, we are...
You cannot stretch recollection that way. It is
Mr.
not
Chairman,
mechanical.
can I remind you that you can have a meeting in the UK when you are here?
Yes.
So she has an office. There is an officer there. They can photocopy and send it to us.
That's what I have done. I've already guided it.
Not sending someone, yes.
She has already accepted. Mazale. Yes.
I was manager here with us.
To do what?
To tell us conditions, terms and conditions under which he receives goods.
The store's manager.
Before you receive a product X.
The store's manager has already been vindicated. Because you would have problems with the store's manager if there was no requisition. The store's manager is not required to look at the framework contract. Once there is a requisition which has gone through the stages, he receives. Yes.
Yeah, it goes beyond the contract. I agree with you, the store person doesn't need to look at the framework contract. But before a store person receives the goods, this is a goods received note. Before that, there is out of the framework contract, they are supposed to issue a document requesting for what is supposed to be delivered. Okay? Then that is supposed to come with a goods delivered note, which I'm also going to ask for. Because the supplier must bring a delivery note, and that has to reconcile with the goods received note. We have only been given the received note.
That's not true. I think after
I haven't seen any other.
After Annex 1, attached to Annex 1, in a series of documents which were signed, and
in which annex here?
Annex 1 of the small one, that one you're holding. She took us through the documents that related to the supply. Quite a number, the entire Annex 1, including the market assessment. I think, colleagues, one thing you need to know is that away from the framework contract, these other documents, we were looking for the store's manager to tell us how he ended up receiving goods when the mother contract was not in place. The executive director has confirmed that she eventually signed the mother document, which is the framework contract. We are yet to see and to examine. You get the point? Because our contention has been consistently, you did not sign. Now she says, I signed. We said, okay. How did you sign when the document you demanded was not in place? She says, no, now it was in place. We said, okay, where is it? This is what she has given us. Do you get my point? Whether this amounts to the authorization or not is your judgment.
Chair. Yeah, you see, Chair, the fact that there was no contract at the time of receiving at that conclusion after receiving the framework contract, comparing the date on the framework contract and the supply. Chair, I'm not
You're actually causing me to let the cat out of the bag.
No, Chair, I'm not jumping the gun because the CEO has already acknowledged and confirmed that she signed the contract later after receiving the goods.
Is that true?
Yes.
Is that what she said? And Chair, I want to refer to the audit report. That's why I'm referring. Wait, let's get this confirmation from her because it is factual.
Uganda Eyenkya.